everyone, it's Nicole here today with a card featuring lots of new release honeybee stamps and dies, as well as mixing and matching with a few previously released stamps and dies to create this cute little Pinky the Pig hello card. So I kind of pre-die cut a bunch of components here, and I'm going to ink them up to customize them with the color I want to build my background. We're going to be building the background and working our way forward, finishing with that sweet, adorable little Pinky the Pig, a little flower garden, and some butterflies. So on a piece of A2 sized Bristol smooth cardstock, this is 4 1/4 inches by 5 1/2 inches, I'm using tumbled glass distress ink. I love distress inks on Bristol smooth cardstock. They apply so smoothly. The tumbled glass is fantastic as it's super light, and I want something pretty subtle for my background because there's lots and lots of color going on my card. And we're just going to fill this whole back panel with a little Bristol smooth cardstock before moving on to the grass border. The grass border is a new die from the latest release, and grass borders for me are so super versatile. I just love them. This is absolutely perfect. From another little scrap of Bristol smooth cardstock, I die cut this border, and I'm inking it up with MOWED Lawn Distress ink. And I'm using a scrap piece of paper to help keep my fingers out of the ink. This is really important with Bristol smooth cardstock. I've noticed especially the surface of it is really kind of slick, which makes for blending distress inks fantastic, but it can leave finger marks until that ink is completely dry. So I generally try to use a scrap piece of paper when I'm inking to help keep my fingers out of the ink. I'm going to go ahead and wipe up that green ink from my Easy Clean mat and then move on to the fence components. This is the Farm Fence, another brand new die from the latest release, and it's got a couple of different pieces. There's the more solid fence piece that you can see, and then there's some fence posts that have the detail added to them, and I die cut both of them from the Bristol smooth cardstock, again using my scrap piece of paper to help keep my fingers out of the ink. And I'm inking up each of those fence posts with the Gathered Twigs Distress ink. And I'm really laying that color on pretty dark, using a pretty heavy hand on the fence posts themselves. I'm going to do a light layer of the Gathered Twigs without re-inking my tool. You can see here I'm just really lightly applying my ink to that fence, and then I'm going to take a little liquid glue. This is the Ranger Multi-Matte Medium. Draw a little line of glue on my base piece and layer on these darker fence posts. And they're going to line up perfectly. I really like the texture of those individual fence posts, and layering them like this gives the fence so much depth and dimension, not to mention that fantastic texture. And I could see using this fence on so many different cards. I just love this. Another really great versatile die that was released by Honeybee. I love these kind of dies because I reach for them time and time again. So we're just going to keep inking up all of these little fence post pieces. I did this 3 times. This is a nice little small piece. It's a nice little fence builder, I kind of call it. So you can use as many or as few as you want to. I think it would be darling if you created a border all the way across a scrapbook page. So maybe consider a 12 by 12 scrapbook page. And you could add a whole bunch of little animals. There's the little Pinky the Pig, Lily the Lamb. There's the foxes from Feelin, Foxy. Any of the bunny stamp sets I think would be adorable as well. So you could really create maybe a really kind of fun critter scene. Use the fence, use the grass. Lots of great ways to use all of these fantastic pieces. So I've kind of got everything laid out here. In addition to my fence and my grass, I did die cut some clouds using the previously released Partly Cloudy cloud dies. This is a fantastic die collection. Again, another one that really is versatile and can be used in so many ways. On the back of my grass piece, I did add some foam adhesive. But real quick before I add that, I want to stamp my greetings. Because my greetings are going to be directly on my background, I like to do that before I add anything dimensional in case that interferes with stamping a really crisp, clean image. One of my favorite things, and I've said it over and over again, but one of my favorite things about honeybee stamps is their greeting sets are mix and match, meaning you can mix and match these different words and sentiments to really build the greeting that works for the kind of card you want to make. So whether you're wanting to maybe say thank you, you want to send a happy birthday card, or send a love you card, or maybe a new baby card, there's a tickled pink greeting. There are lots and lots of different greetings in this stamp set, and you can do all kinds of things with this. Hogs and kisses is a cute one. Something about pigging out, which would be cute. There's like a party greeting, there's a birthday greeting, lots of ways. I decided to do a hello card, and I love this little piggy says hello. You could do this little piggy says get well. You could say this little piggy says happy birthday. Again, the possibilities are really just endless. So many great ways. This is a big greeting stamp set, the Ham It Up is, and so very, very fun to use. Now, what I love is there's two different fonts, and so I did the more scripty style font in a different color. I did that in a red ink. Everything else is in a black ink so that the hello really stands out. Now I can go ahead and adhere my grass border, and I'm just going to use my Misty to help line that up along the bottom edge, and I use these thin adhesive strips to add that, and then I'm going to use these thin adhesive strips again on the back of each fence post. I wanted dimension for this card, and this is just a fantastic way to get it without compromising the design, so nothing's going to get smashed down if you're a little bit more generous with your foam adhesive. And these little thin strips last me forever. I absolutely love them. I'm a huge fan of foam adhesive anyway, and I have several different kinds, and this is great for those skinny little pieces. So now all we have to do is build the fence and put these one next to another, and it looks like a seamless fence design. If you didn't know it, you would think this was all one die. So you can make this fence as long as you want to. I think it would also be very cute to maybe leave an opening, almost like it's a little opening in the fence for the critters to go through. You could do so many different things. So I'm going to go ahead and finish kind of piecing my foam adhesive strips here. Peel off the rest of the backing and then line that up. Now I think I kind of got it skewed, and I ended up messing with this fence for probably a lot longer than I needed to, just simply because I did not want it to feel like it was going kind of high to low, and so I really kind of messed with it quite a bit because when I lined it up with my grid background, it wasn't quite right, and I carefully peeled that up. Probably should have used a little undo adhesive remover because you could tear your background doing that. So I've got my grass, I've got my fence, and then we're going to have Pinky the pig here and some flowers growing along the bottom edge. But up in the sky, I really felt like I needed a little something a little more subtle since so much is going on in the bottom half of the card. So this is where those partly cloudy cloud die cut shapes come in. We're going to layer those here with some foam adhesive. Again, keeping that dimension consistent throughout the card design. If you wanted to mix it up, I think the combination of smooth white clouds and vellum clouds is a really fun, classy look as well. So now we're going to take Pinky the Pig and the flower from the Pinky the Pig stamp set. And I also noticed that the Lily the Lamb, which is also new, had some cute flowers. So we're going to grab those from this new stamp set. From the previously released Feelin Foxy, we're going to grab the butterflies and a couple of hearts. Now, even though I stamped that larger heart, I colored it, I die cut it, it didn't work on my card. I stamped multiple hearts and I ended up only using one, and it really worked well, I think. Again, I didn't want to overcrowd the card too much. Having a little bit more white space at the top helps keep the focus on the pig, which is a very nice size, and that cute little flower garden against the fence. The pig is colored in with R01 is what I use kind of as my base, but really I probably wouldn't have needed to use that. R30 is kind of close in color to that, I think. And I ended up using the R30 to blend this out, and it blended out so much and blended into the R01 that I ended up using that as my base color and simply went back in and added more R32 as needed to darken up the edges of my pig. And I really worked to kind of build this color for the pig. The snout is going to be R32 with a little R43 to darken it up. I pulled out R32 further out on my pig because I felt like I blended too much with R30 to begin with. But I love the peachy pink of these colors, and I think they work really well for the pig. Really bright once completely done, and looks really great. And I'm going to add a little dot detail to the pig as well to add some additional texture. And I really worked on the pig a lot. I added a lot of color here. So just a little darker color. We're going to darken up a little bit above the snout as well. The nostrils, we'll use a warm gray marker to color those in. And then the hooves, we're going to use YR 31 and 24. And I even kind of used a little bit of the R30 over this to mute the yellow red just a tiny little bit. And there is the cute pig. For the hearts and the one red flower, we're going to use R27 and R46. The pink flower is RV 52 and 55. Purple flowers are B60 and 63 and 69. I really felt like I needed the 69 there. I didn't love the flower when it was just B60 and 63, and the little bit darker really worked. Any of the leaves are YG 21 and 17. Centers of the flowers as well. Yellow flowers Y11 and 08, and even a little YR04 to help darken some of that up just a tiny bit. Orange flower is YR01 and YR04. And again, YG 21 and 17 for any greenery pieces. I went ahead and did all those at once then. And then just filling in the rest of the flowers. Another pink flower, another purple flower, and that last one will be red. And as I mentioned before, that's R27 and R46. All we have left are the butterflies. Those are going to be a combination of B01, 04, and Y11 for the tips of the butterflies. So I started with B01, laid that down, did some yellow along the edges of the butterfly wings, and then went from the body of the butterfly and kind of feathered in a little B04. Next, I took the coordinating dies from Pinky the Pig, Lily the Lamb, and Feelin Foxy, and die cut all of those pieces. Now, the great thing about Pinky the Pig it die cuts the front legs, meaning the pig can hold all kinds of different things from that stamp set, whether it be a cupcake, a piece of pizza, a glass of lemonade, a pencil, ice cream cone, heart, lollipop, firecracker, like a pinwheel, sorry, I can't talk, I guess, a little piece of cake. So lots of things it can hold, and maybe things from other stamp sets. So feel free to mix and match. I'm going to have it holding one of the flowers, kind of like it picked a flower from the flower garden, and then we're going to fill in the rest of the flower garden against the fence. Add a little heart at the end of the greeting. We've got a butterfly flying there up above the flowers, another one up high on the card to kind of balance it all out. And then we're going to add finishing details, a little white pin to the pig, and then we're going to add some eyelashes with a fine tip black pin, which really gives it a fun feminine flair. Thanks for joining me today for this card featuring Pinky the Pig and lots of other honeybee stamps and dies. Please, the supplies I used to create my card are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Here are a couple more cards featuring honeybee stamps you might be interested in. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.